The Alfa Romeo GTV and Spider were launched at the Geneva Motor Show in March 1995. These small, very beautiful cars sort of replaced two previous Alfa Romeo models, if only spiritually, these being the Alfa Romeo GT, Type 116, and the Spider, Type 105/115. Although the fourth generation Spider ceased production in 1994, the basic platform of this car dated back to 1966, hence the need for a modern roadster. As for an Alfa Romeo Coupe, production of the GT had finished by 1986, some 9 years before the GTV Coupe would reach the first owners. The car shown in this video belongs to a Geoff follower and was loaned to me for a video. I'd never driven an Alfa Romeo GTV before, so I leapt at the chance to find out what this cheap little convertible was all about. Another high quality Geoff car. Inside the car, it feels like a classic car. It smells like a classic car. I've got this lovely metal gear knob that I can spin around. I've got an aluminium handbrake thing. I don't think that was standard. It's got a lot of character. There are some really funny things about this car. I'll just get out and show you. The driver's door doesn't seem to open, which is hilarious, and the driver's windows don't work, and I'm guessing the passenger windows don't work because the button has been mounted upside down. So no working windows, and I've only got one door that works, but we can forgive the car that because it's an Alfa Romeo and it's got a lot of character. Now, 2-litre twin spark engine, not the V6 that everybody wants, because the V6s have gotten quite expensive. Look at this. Anyway, this is a very cheap Alfa GTV Spider, 2-litre twin spark. Let's see if I can get down this road and show you some noise without breaking my camera mount. It's a peppy little engine, this is. I said this when I had that little Alfa 166, which was the same engine. It's very drivable. Enough of that. A very fun, very drivable little car. Now, when Alfa were developing this car, they took as their sort of benchmark the Lotus Elan, the M100 Lotus Elan, which was a superb handling car. Now, interestingly, they didn't take the Mazda MX-5. The Mazda MX-5 weighed in at about 1,000 kilos. This is something like 1,450. It's a lot heavier than an MX-5. And the Elan would be roughly the same as well. So a very cool, but not necessarily lightweight roadster. Right, I've never removed the roof on an Alfa Romeo before. I've no idea how it works. So start the clock. It's got to be the same as pretty much all other roadsters, hasn't it? Start counting. Now here I make a classic mistake. I've started on the wrong side of the car. The buttons to open the roof are on the driver's side, and I had no idea. So whilst I fart around with trying to get the roof off, I might as well tell you what some of the awards were that this car won. 1995, Car of the Year, Best Designed Car, Best Designed Detail in Production, World's Most Beautiful Automobile, the Goldines Lenkrad, Auto PPL del Mondo, Best Sports Car, Best Car to Drive, Engineer of the Year, and also Deportivo di Anno. If you don't speak Italian, that means Sports Car of the Year. So needless to say, this car was well regarded at launch. Now, let's see if I've managed to get the roof off. Stop the clock! Okay, let me show you what I did wrong. There's two buttons down here, which is just behind the driver's seat. So there's a button to release the deck lid, and then there's a button to batten down the hatches, basically, to secure the soft top. So that's that. Look at that strafe that runs from the back of the front arch all the way down the car to give it that sort of clamshell shape. It's a very lovely looking thing, and they don't design cars this way anymore. Look at the headlights. Beautifully designed headlights. So this car was designed in, I believe, get my facts right, 1988, and it didn't actually see production until the mid-90s. 93, I think it was first unveiled, but it wasn't actually available until something like 1995. So very long time it took to get this car actually on the road and in production. Lovely looking thing. This is I'd class this as a base spec 2 litre with some Geoff-isms. We've got the odd mark here and there, but don't forget this is a cheap Alfa Romeo. Jonah's got this car for sale for, I think, 1,800 quid. Cheap car, but what a great looking car. And that brake light assembly that goes all the way across the back of the car is very 2022, isn't it? I mean, if we just stare at the boot for a second, look at that. It's full on 1980s whilst being contemporary. I like that a lot. You could get that sort of full horizontal light bar on a modern BMW of any sort. It's a great sounding little car, and we'll show you. Inside, the door, this door is a bit temperamental, so push the button and pull it to open. Good old click to let you know that it's been opened. Look at the size of that sill. Look at that there. That is substantial, isn't it? So the substantial strength going through the car there. That's obviously where they put all the strength, you know, to make it a convertible. We've got Momo leather seats. It's dead comfortable. It actually feels like a proper little roadster. I love, if you press that button, you get jellyfish or skulls, pirates. Not completely sure. I love that nothing seems to be quite where you want it to be. So you've got, yes, speed on the left and rev meter on the right. That's fine. And then in the middle over here, I've got a clock, a fuel gauge, and a temp gauge. But when I jumped in this car, it took me a minute because I was expecting my fuel gauge to be up in the main cluster, which it wasn't. Got some more jellyfish. If you want jellyfish to go that way, then you press that one. And if you want them to go faster that way, you press that one. But that button doesn't seem to work. As I said, the window switches don't seem to work on this side. And on the other side, the switch is actually in upside down. Or the ones on the other side are upside down. Alpha people, correct me in the comments. Vents, big airbag. I've got a glove box, some speakers. It's just a basic roadster. Terrible period radio that obviously can be replaced. I do have air conditioning. Yeah, I've got my traditional 3 knobs. Where the air goes, how hot is the air, how fast you want it. Sorted. That's all you need in a convertible. Got some electric mirrors on the inside here. And is that my light beam up and down? Why would you put it there and not like near the lights? Quite bizarre. In the back I've got a screwdriver and a screw, obviously. And then this storage space, which I guess that's where your battery goes, and you can keep things in there. I don't know, maybe pirate treasure. If you've got any pirate treasure, maybe that's what you get when you press the skull button. Is that a cubby hole? No, it's just coming off. And then I've got a cubby hole there as well. So all in all, pretty good looking little Alfa Romeo. Right, let's go for a little drive with the roof off. This particular car has just done a little snip over 126,000 miles, and despite all of the obvious, mostly minor cosmetic flaws, it seems to drive very nicely indeed. Much more fun than I was expecting. That's a pleasant surprise. So on this particular car, there's definitely a few things that you'd have to fix because they would be infuriating to live with, like the fact that the windows don't work and this door takes quite an effort to open and close. But generally, you've got the basis for not a bad little car here. Are they going to go up in value? Yes, because I think more people are realising that cars from the late 90s, early 2000s are easy to live with, relatively reliable, nicely designed and pretty cool. I think people are turning away from modern, boring, generally SUVs and looking back at the cars that we once had. What would you rather? A brand new BMW Z4 or a nice example of an older Alfa GTV? I know exactly what I'd have. that would be the sort of point where Clarkson would then like pull away from the camera and conclude. But I'm sat in traffic. You want to hear the engine instead. Yeah, and the guy in front's decided to play as well in his Astra. And we'll conclude that video before I spend the rest of the afternoon racing around chasing this slightly chavvy Astra. He's wondering why an old Alfa Romeo is spending all day parked on his rear bumper. Thanks for watching. I'm a fan. I really like the Alfa GTV. I'd buy one of these. I'd probably go buy a better one though. Just like new.
Geoff buys cars. Still YouTube's most boring car channel.